What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and bringing another little nugget to add to the Soul Tribe archive. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Jupiter in Libra in the first house. I'm like, look at Big Papa bringing balance. Now, when you talk about Jupiter, the nature of Jupiter, well, one, who doesn't love Jupiter because that's the greater benefic. And Jupiter is not just about bringing abundance and all those fortunes and riches, which of course we love about Jupiter, but Jupiter is also about expansion. You know, you're growing your worldview, bringing about wisdom, and this in the faith in that there is more to this life in this journey and wherever house that this is happening for you. But yeah, Jupiter brings about this optimism and enthusiasm for what's to come, and then again those larger things in life. Jupiter makes you grand. And then when you talk about Libra, Libra is ruled by the lovely Venus, and they are the cardinal air sign, and they are masculine, or excuse me, they're active or yang in nature. And when you think about Libra, they're the initiators of thought. And there is this, I think, really original mind to Libra. They have such a creative mind, of course, having that Venusian flavor. But there is this way of bringing harmony and bringing balance, because whenever there is one reaction, there's opposing reaction. And so there's this contract, I think, with chaos almost that Libra energy can have. But again, this is with the source of all, the source of thoughts. So there is this natural intelligence, this tact that comes with Libra energy as well. And I think that there too is this really powerful kind of law of attraction, because I mean the word is a powerful thing. And again, with that Venusian influence, I think that Libra can not just attract relationships, but hence attract the ideas for what they want to create and things along those lines. So yeah, really impressive energy when you think about Libra. And then you talk about the first house. This in traditional astrology or in ancient astrology was known as the hour marker, but this is where the ascendant lives. And some of the themes that the first house is going to cover are just like the body, the thing that stores the soul. This is the life where the life force is at. This can deal with like your temperament, your speech, your personality. This can deal with even like appearance can be another thing that comes in the first house. But I think more like the biggest thing about this is that this is the beginning, or the house where the beginning of all actions take place. So there's a lot of power with the first house as well, and just like who you are as a personality. So when you're working with this placement, a couple things to consider. One easy thing is that you'd have a Libra rising by whole sign. And you're going to want to look to Venus, because Venus is going to be responsible for this house and for your eighth house, which deals with like shared resources, mortality, and occult studies. That house deals, and those are just some base things that house covers. And then Big Papa is going to be responsible for your third house, which is like communications, neighbors, siblings, family, relatives, short-term travels, things, media, things along those lines. And then your sixth house, which deals with like your health, preventative maintenance. It could be a house of like where some troubles happen, misfortune, bad luck. And this could be like the house of enemies kind of fall into there as well. Your jobs, servitude, and pets is another thing that falls into this. So, a couple of things that I would talk about with this person is, with Jupiter being here, this is, you're here to grow as a person. The really big question is kind of like, who are you? And I think that's something that as you're going along your journey, considering that Jupiter does rule that, of course, you want to take care of the body, considering that Jupiter rules your sixth house. And in ways of learning how to take care of your body, but not through just the health ways, but when you're going through maybe those, like when you feel like you're going through a run of bad luck in things, as you go to overcome those challenges, this could be something where you can turn it into an occupation where you share your, how you've overcome things, and you could be something that is, that could be someone who could become very motivational to your community, that third house that Jupiter rules. But in this could be, maybe you tend to write a book, maybe you do some sort of like healthcare things, possibly. Maybe you're like a life coach, or maybe like a personal trainer, some sort of like maybe holistic, something with like food, or, like a dietitian or something along those lines. I'm just kind of just spitballing here. But that would be, I think, a very beneficial way, but to not only just help you, but to help your community, and then again, and benefit your friends and families, relatives, and things, of friends, as long as that as well. Short-term travels might be something when you do maybe found yourself in a bit of a rut. Just like going exploring around your neighborhood, go see different places that you haven't been in your community, just to get some new perspectives there. And you might even do something too. I think of one little thing I was kind of meditating on that I think would be a really maybe neat manifestation. Maybe you do something where you work with like maybe in like taxis, or some sort of like maybe like a tour guide, or something where you're helping other people kind of see a different side of your community, possibly here, really kind of expand their worldview. I think that might be, considering the sixth house deals with like jobs and things like that. This would be a great house to be of, like, of course, of service. Whether that doing some sort of like community work, maybe you volunteer at like a soup kitchen, or maybe you do something with maybe pets are in there, so maybe you volunteer at there's this thing that used to come around. I don't know if that's something you can volunteer at, but there's like the neuter scooter. They'd come through and offer these sort of like free services to get animals fixed and things like that. So maybe do something with like the local vet, or maybe doing something like the local farm, or things along those lines. I think volunteering would be something very beneficial. But just having that sense of community, whether that be in your with your neighbors, or with your relatives, maybe staying in touch with like cousins, aunts, things along those lines. Because who knows, like that might be something where maybe they can open up different doors for you, maybe present different job opportunities, and things like that. Or maybe you're whatever you're doing, maybe you can present that opportunities to them. And yeah, it just creates this sort of, oh, and family legacy in a sense. Now I'm thinking about how Venus rules those houses, but yeah, so you can really kind of play around with this for sure. One thing that I also was thinking about, if you're in some sort of like this, thinking in your job, especially if you're someone who maybe manages people, you could be seen as someone who brings balance, and as a really good mediator when there are maybe troubles in the workspace. Possibly you can be like the come in and be the voice of reason, because again, Big Papa gives extra personality, more oomph in the first house. And considering that Jupiter is really influenced about how you speak, because the speech can be another thing that deals with the first house, and also the communication in the third house. So that could be something where you're just the go-to person, the one that just again keeps order, keeps balance, runs a very very hard smooth ship. That might be something that comes through there. And even just thinking about your speech, that's something to work on, those oratory skills. Libra is great with words. Libra is great. I have a Gemini moon, and I love talking with Libras. Libra falls in my third house. So I'm all for it. But I think that would be something really really powerful. Your words could probably have a lot of influence. You could really kind of move people with that. So that's something that I would really kind of play with that. Maybe some sort of like oratory. Maybe you do some sort of like, maybe become like a civil servant, something along those lines. Get in some sort of like politics. Maybe you want to help improve, beautify your neighborhood, do something for your community. Especially if it's something where maybe if you grew up in a neighborhood that had a lot of troubles, a lot of maybe some plights, and there's like that there's more to offer than what is just like than what maybe people perceive it as. You can maybe make it to where your place becomes up and coming. So again, it's just like, that's the beauty of the first house. It just depends on the scope that you want to take it, and Jupiter will help you take it as large as you want. So that's just some very basic things that I would talk about. You definitely need the whole chart to get a better idea of how this would manifest. And if that's something that and if you have this placement, I would love to hear down in the comments section how this has showed up for you, how you've been working with Jupiter, and how that's maybe expanded your world and things like that. But if this is something where you want to get more familiar and work more and really kind of explore what this placement can do for you, down in the description box there is a link to get in touch with me, and it has a list of my services that I offer. So that's available to you if you're ready to take your astrology to that next level there. But also too, on this channel I do weekly videos that talk about where the planets are transiting and how to work with those energies. And this might be something that we'll keep an eye on too, because Saturn, especially if you have like early degrees of Libra, Saturn's getting ready to move into Libra here soon, so there's going to be opposing, your all of your Libra placements. So you may want to go through your relationship house. So this is maybe something you want to get eyes on and see how that's looking going forward. Maybe you're thinking about making connections and things. So definitely that's available for you. It's I think it's under the weekly transits tab. So definitely check that out. And then last thing, if you want to work with the moon and get into the lunar shenanigans, on my other channel, The Chariot Friends, I talk about all the lunar astrology, and then I do a tarot card reading and an I Ching reading as well, just kind of all sorts of mysticism for you. So, but that's all I got for you. But until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.